The arena of Varkesh Prime was built for humiliation. It wasn't just a place of combat, it was a stage where civilizations proved their dominance and others were reminded of their insignificance. Floating above a molten world, the colossal structure shimmered with energy shields, its tiers filled with spectators from dozens of alien species. Their voices merged into a deafening roar, a symphony of anticipation, bloodlust, and curiosity. At the center stood the circle. A perfect, glowing ring of hardened energy where fighters battled under the watchful eyes of empires. And today the human coalition had sent a representative. A single fighter. Inside the waiting chamber, Marcus Hale adjusted the locking seals of his combat armor. It was standard human exo-armor. Nothing extravagant, nothing ceremonial. Functional. Efficient. The kind of armor built for survival, not spectacle. Outside, the announcer's voice thundered across the arena. Next, representing the human coalition, a species known for persistence, but not dominance. The crowd murmured, some laughing, others uninterested. Marcus exhaled slowly. He had heard it all before. Humans were resilient, yes, but fragile compared to armored giants, energy-wielding beings, and genetically engineered warforms. He stepped forward as the gate opened. Light flooded in. The roar of the crowd intensified. And across the arena his opponent emerged. She was magnificent. Tall, poised, her body encased in sleek biomechanical armor that seemed alive, shifting subtly with her movements. Her eyes glowed faintly, and her presence radiated authority. Champion of the Caliph Dominion, the announcer declared, undefeated in 47 matches. General Varela. The crowd erupted. Varela stepped into the circle and looked directly at Marcus. Then she smiled. Not with respect. With amusement. So, she said, her voice amplified across the arena, this is what the humans send? Laughter rippled through the spectators. Marcus didn't respond. Varela circled him slowly, studying his armor, his stance. I was expecting something more impressive, she continued. Or perhaps you are simply brave enough to die? More laughter. Marcus remained still. She stopped in front of him, tilting her head. Tell me, she said softly, though every being in the arena could hear it, do you truly believe you can defeat me? Marcus finally spoke. I didn't come here to prove I can beat you. Varela raised an eyebrow. Then why are you here, human? He met her gaze. To show you something. The signal sounded. The fight began. Middle, the dance of power. Varela moved first. She blurred forward with impossible speed, her strike aimed directly at Marcus's center mass. The impact slammed him across the arena, his armor absorbing most of the force, but barely. Gasps and cheers filled the air. Marcus rolled, recovering quickly, but Varela was already advancing. You're slower than I expected, she said, striking again. This time he blocked, but the force drove him to one knee. The difference was clear. She was stronger, faster, more advanced. The crowd sensed it immediately. This would not be a long match. Varela pressed her advantage, unleashing a flurry of attacks that pushed Marcus back step by step. Is this the best humanity can offer? She mocked. Endurance without strength? Courage without capability? Marcus didn't answer. He moved. Not aggressively. Not defensively. Carefully. Observing. Learning. Each strike he absorbed, each movement he made, it wasn't about winning. It was about understanding. Varela noticed. You're not even trying to fight, she said, irritation creeping into her voice. I am, Marcus replied calmly. No, she snapped, launching a heavy strike that sent him crashing into the arena wall. You're surviving. He pushed himself up slowly. Yes. The simplicity of his answer angered her. She charged again, this time unleashing a full power strike designed to end the match. Marcus braced. The impact shattered part of his armor, sending fragments scattering across the arena floor. The crowd roared. Varela stepped back, breathing evenly. Pathetic, she said. Marcus looked down at his damaged armor, then back at her. You're right, he said. The arena fell slightly quieter. Varela frowned. What? He reached up. and disengaged the first lock on his armor. A sharp hiss echoed as the chest plate released. "What are you doing?" she demanded. Marcus didn't answer. He removed the chest piece, letting it fall to the ground with a heavy clang. The crowd murmured. Then louder. Confused. Curious. He continued. Piece by piece. Shoulder plates. Arm guards. Leg reinforcements. Until he stood there, no longer encased in human military technology. Just a man. Unarmored. Unprotected. Facing the most dangerous warrior in the arena. Silence spread. Uncomfortable. Varela stared at him. "You've lost your mind," she said quietly. Marcus stepped forward. "No," he replied. "Then what is this?" she demanded, gesturing at his discarded armor. "This," he said, "is the only way you'll understand." The crowd erupted into chaos, some laughing, some shouting, others simply stunned. Varela's eyes narrowed. "You think removing your armor will make you stronger?" she asked. "No. Then you've already lost." Marcus shook his head. "I'm not trying to win." That stopped her. For the first time since the fight began, she hesitated. "Then what are you trying to do?" she asked. Marcus took another step forward. "Show you what strength actually looks like." The turning point. Varela attacked again. But this time something was different. Marcus moved, not faster, not stronger, but freer. Without the armor restricting his motion, his movements became fluid, adaptive, human. He dodged her first strike completely. The crowd gasped. She followed with another, he evaded again. "You're still weaker," she growled. "I know," he replied. She increased her speed, her power. But Marcus didn't try to match it. He adapted. Every movement precise. Every step intentional. He wasn't fighting her strength. He was working around it. "You rely on your armor," he said as he narrowly avoided a strike that would have crushed his chest. "Your enhancements. Your power. And you rely on nothing," she snapped. He shook his head. "I rely on choice." That confused her, just enough. He stepped closer. Close enough that she could strike him instantly. But she didn't. "Why aren't you afraid?" she asked. "I am," he said. That answer shocked her more than anything else. "Then why step forward?" she pressed. Marcus looked directly into her eyes. "Because fear doesn't decide what I do." The arena was silent now. Completely. For the first time in its history, the crowd wasn't cheering. They were watching. Listening. Understanding. Varela lowered her stance slightly. "You're still going to lose," she said, but her voice lacked certainty. "Maybe," Marcus replied. "But you'll remember this." Lengthy ending, the moment that changed everything. Varela stood motionless for a long moment. The arena, once filled with chaos and laughter, had fallen into an unnatural silence. Thousands of beings, warriors, nobles, rulers, sat frozen, watching something none of them had expected to witness. Not a battle. Not a slaughter. But a moment. A moment that didn't belong in an arena built for domination. Marcus stood unarmored, breathing steadily, his chest rising and falling, his body marked with bruises and cuts. He looked fragile compared to her, painfully so. And yet, Varela felt something she had never felt before in this arena. Uncertainty. Her entire life had been built on a single truth. Strength determines worth. Power defines survival. The strong rule. The weak serve, or disappear. She had lived by that truth. Fought for it. Won because of it. But now, standing in front of this human who had willingly discarded every advantage he had, she felt that truth begin to fracture. "You think this changes anything?" she asked quietly. Marcus didn't move. "No," he said. That answer caught her off guard. "Then why?" she demanded. "Because you've never been forced to question it," he replied. She clenched her fists. "I don't need to question strength." "Exactly," Marcus said. That single word hit harder than any strike she had delivered. He took another step forward. Slow. Deliberate. "If strength is all you understand," he continued, "then you'll never see anything else." The words echoed in her mind. Never see anything else. For the first time, Varela realized something terrifying. He wasn't trying to defeat her. He was trying to change her. And somehow, it was working. Her breathing slowed. Her stance shifted. Not into attack. Not into defense. Into hesitation. I could end this right now, she said. Yes, Marcus replied. You wouldn't stop me. No. Then why stand there? She asked. Marcus looked at her, not as an opponent, not as an enemy, but as someone he believed could understand. Because you won't. The certainty in his voice shook her. Don't presume to know me, human, she said sharply, but the edge was gone. Marcus didn't respond immediately. Instead, he did something no one in the arena had ever seen. He lowered his guard completely. Arms at his sides. Chest exposed. No defense. No resistance. Total vulnerability. The crowd erupted in shocked whispers. Varela stared at him, stunned. This is what you wanted to show me? She asked, almost incredulous. Marcus nodded. Yes. She stepped closer. Close enough that she could feel his heartbeat. Fast. Human. Real. You're offering me your life, she said. No, Marcus replied softly. I'm showing you that you don't need to take it. The words hit her like a shockwave. Her entire existence, her victories, her identity, her purpose, had always been tied to taking. Taking ground. Taking power. Taking lives. But this human, he wasn't giving her anything. He was showing her she could choose not to take. Her hand lifted slowly. The crowd held its breath. She could end it. One strike. One motion. The fight would be over. The Dominion would cheer. The arena would return to what it had always been. But her hand didn't move forward. It trembled. For the first time in her life, Varela of the Caliph Dominion hesitated to strike a weaker opponent. And in that hesitation, everything changed. She lowered her hand. The arena gasped. She began, then stopped. She looked at Marcus again. At his unarmored form. At the complete absence of fear controlling his actions. You're not strong, she said slowly. Marcus nodded. I know. But you're not weak either, she continued. He said nothing. Because this wasn't his realization. It was hers. She stepped back. Then further. Until there was space between them. The signal for continuation never came. The announcer remained silent. The arena waited. But Varela turned away. I forfeit, she said. The words echoed across the arena like a shockwave. Forfeit. The undefeated champion. The symbol of dominance. Had just surrendered. Not because she was overpowered. But because she had been changed. Chaos erupted. Shouts. Protests. Disbelief. But none of it mattered. Because in the center of the circle, something far more important had happened. A truth had been revealed. Marcus exhaled slowly. Not in victory. But in relief. Varela paused at the edge of the arena, then looked back at him. What you showed me, she said quietly, it's dangerous. Marcus gave a small, tired smile. Yeah, he said. It is. She studied him for one last moment. Then nodded. Not as a superior. Not as a conqueror. But as an equal. And for the first time in the history of Varkesh Prime, the arena had not witnessed the triumph of strength, but the awakening of understanding. Final closing line. The galaxy had come to watch a human be defeated. Instead, it watched a warrior realize that strength was never about power. It was about the courage to choose something greater.